Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we have a gripping and emotional Reddit relationship story titled Love, Lies, and Second Chances. It follows the journey of someone who thought they had the perfect relationship, only to find out their partner had been living a double life. Betrayal, heartbreak, and the search for truth are at the heart of this story, and it's one you won't want to miss. Let's dive right in. Part 1, The Perfect Illusion. I always thought my relationship with Jason was perfect. We met in college, fell in love fast, and after 5 years together, we had built a seemingly unbreakable bond. He was charming, supportive, and always knew how to make me laugh. Our friends called us relationship goals, and I believed it. That belief shattered one evening when I accidentally picked up Jason's phone instead of mine. The screen lit up with a message, "Can't wait to see you tonight." My heart stopped. My mind screamed at me to ignore it, to pretend I never saw it, but I couldn't. My hands trembled as I opened the conversation. What I found was a series of texts exchanged over the past 2 months. Sweet words, intimate conversations, promises of a future with someone else. Emily. Who was Emily, and how long had Jason been lying to me? I felt sick, my stomach twisted in knots as I scrolled further. It wasn't just a fling. It was emotional, the kind of betrayal that cut deeper than anything physical. Jason had built a second life behind my back, and I had been blissfully unaware. That night I didn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, waiting for Jason to come home. When he did, I pretended everything was normal. I needed time to process, to plan my next move. I wasn't just going to confront him. No, I wanted the truth, all of it. The next morning, I made a decision. If Jason was lying to me, I was going to uncover every single secret before I decided my next move. Part 2, Uncovering the Truth. I started with the obvious. Jason was a creature of habit, and that worked in my favor. Every morning, he showered, grabbed his coffee, and left his phone on the kitchen counter while he got dressed. I had a 5-minute window. With shaking hands, I unlocked his phone again. This time, I went deeper. His messages with Emily confirmed my worst fears. They had been meeting at a hotel every Wednesday for weeks. My stomach turned as I read the details, inside jokes, memories they shared, things he never said to me anymore. I took screenshots and sent them to myself. I needed evidence if I was going to confront him. I wanted the truth on my side. But as I scrolled, I noticed something else, another name, Lauren. My heart pounded. Emily wasn't the only one. I clicked on the messages, and sure enough, Jason had been leading a second double life. Emily and Lauren, 2 different women, 2 different lies. My perfect relationship wasn't just cracked. It was shattered beyond repair. My breath hitched as I heard the shower turn off. I quickly deleted any trace of my snooping and placed his phone back on the counter. I had all the proof I needed. Now I had to decide, did I confront him now, or did I wait to make him suffer the way he had made me? Part 3, The Confrontation. I couldn't hold it in any longer. That evening, I asked Jason to sit down. He smiled at me like nothing was wrong, like he wasn't hiding 2 separate relationships behind my back. My hands were shaking as I placed his phone on the table between us. "Unlock it," I said, my voice colder than I had ever heard it. He frowned. "Why?" "Just do it, Jason." He hesitated but finally complied. I took the phone and pulled up his messages with Emily. Then Lauren. I watched his face pale as I slid the device across the table. "Explain," I demanded. For a moment, he just stared at the screen, as if willing the messages to disappear. Then he sighed, rubbing his hands over his face. "It's not what you think." I laughed bitterly. "Not what I think. You've been sleeping with Emily and Lauren behind my back. You built entire relationships with them. So tell me, what exactly do I think?" Jason opened his mouth, but no words came out. I could see the panic in his eyes. He was caught, and he knew it. "How long?" I pressed. "Emily, about 6 months," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "Lauren, maybe 3. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. "So, while we were planning our future, you were already replacing me." He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "I never meant to hurt you," he said, his voice desperate. "I love you." I stood up, shaking my head. "No, Jason, you love the idea of me. But if you really loved me, you wouldn't have done this." Tears welled in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall in front of him. I grabbed my bag and turned to leave. I hoped they were worth it. He called after me, but I didn't stop. I walked out of our apartment, out of our life together, and into the unknown. For the first time in 5 years, I was free. Part 4, Rebuilding. The first few weeks after leaving Jason were the hardest. I kept wondering if I had made a mistake, if somehow I had missed a way to fix things. but every time I replayed the messages in my head. I reminded myself, Jason had made his choices and I had made mine. I moved in with my best friend, Sarah, who welcomed me with open arms. She let me cry when I needed to, but she also reminded me of who I was before Jason, a strong, independent woman who didn't need a man to define her worth. One evening, Sarah convinced me to go out. I wasn't looking for anything serious, just a distraction, but that night, I met Daniel. He was kind, funny, and most importantly, honest. We talked for hours, and for the first time in a long time, I laughed without forcing it. I wasn't ready to fall in love again, but Daniel showed me that not all men were like Jason. He reminded me that I deserved better, that I was worthy of real love. Looking back, Jason's betrayal was the best thing that ever happened to me. It shattered the illusion I had been living in and forced me to find myself again. I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving. And for the first time in years, I was truly happy. That's all for today's story. Love, lies, and second chances. What did you think of the twists and turns in this relationship? Do you think the protagonist made the right choice? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more gripping stories like this one. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay true to yourself.